I'm Chris here from Anabolic Men, where we give you 100% research-backed information to optimize your hormonal health and your male health. So today we're going to be talking about some of the side effects associated with boner pills, basically, for lack of a better word. So things like Viagra and Cialis. Now, it's important first to understand the origin of boner pills. So they actually weren't originally intended to be developed for this purpose. And they were running tests on people that had chest pain, and they were developing this Viagra, for example. Sildenafil is the actual chemical name of Viagra, the generic name of Viagra. They were developing that for angina pectoris, which is basically just for chest pain, and also for high blood pressure patients. But what they found was that the patients didn't want to give the drug back, which is kind of funny because they were getting these erections. And basically, the way that this drug works, like sildenafil, basically what happens is in the penis, your body naturally will end up degrading cyclic GMP, which is what floods and causes a tightening of the cavity when the blood flows into the arteries in your penis. The NO basically will bind to what's known as a guanylate cyclase receptor, and then that's what produces the cyclic GMP, and the cyclic GMP ends up keeping the cavern tight when all the blood flows in, and then the veins constrict. Viagra will not allow any kind of degradation of this cyclic GMP, and that's kind of what gives you an erection. The problem is, and here's the issue, is that there are a lot of serious side effects associated with these drugs that do this. However, you can achieve a similar end with the nitric oxide production and the binding of that to that receptor to produce the cyclic GMP properly. You can achieve that same end without a synthetic means. So, and I'll tell you some ideas how. The problem is by taking boner pills, erection pills like Viagra and Cialis, you're really not paying any attention to the actual cause of your erectile dysfunction issue in the first place. And so here at Anabolic Men, we like to teach you how to eliminate the core issue instead of just putting a Band-Aid on the issue and then potentially causing more side effects. Now, what are some of these side effects? Just a simple search, and you can find a lot of forums or people talking about the side effects or side effects listed on sites. Some of them are quite serious, though. So I would definitely consider natural options instead of that will actually eliminate the issues that are causing your erectile dysfunction instead of just taking a boner pill just to do it. Because some of these are so serious, one of them is sudden vision loss. So I don't know about you, but causing any kind of issues with my retina and vision, I would like to avoid those, especially if you're not really under control. You're not really in control of them. For example, you're taking a pill and then it could or could not cause vision loss. Another one is tinnitus, and then like ringing in your ears, and then also sudden hearing loss. So it seems to affect the senses quite, if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, and you would only really know if you're sensitive to that kind of thing by going through an actual problem with it associated with these drugs, which, by then it's a bit too late. Then, it seems to affect your senses. So vision, hearing, it can actually ironically cause chest pain, which they were originally developing these drugs to actually solve the chest pain, but what it did was it gave guys erections. It actually will cause chest pain in people. Causes nausea and sweating in some people as well. It'll give you an arrhythmia, so it'll give you a regular heartbeat. Some people have reported swelling, edema in their extremities. The shortness of breath, again, more vision issues, feeling lightheaded or fainting. Again, like they say in all the commercials, actually having erections that last longer than 4 hours, and they say seek medical attention immediately when you have that problem. I don't know about you, but even in knowing that there's a natural way to solve these problems associated with erectile dysfunction, I would never want to run the risk of sudden hearing or vision loss. Also, any of these other issues, but those two are the main big ones. And they particularly list, contraindications for Viagra. Basically, it'll decrease your liver function because your liver basically needs to process all the drug. So it'll lead to liver complications as well. They've had people with stroke and heart attack issues who take Viagra, and then also retinal disorders. So even if you don't have sudden vision loss, you will see a degradation of your vision quality. So I don't want to mess with that kind of thing. I don't think anyone who is trying to educate themselves on how to naturally do this would want to mess with that kind of thing anyway. So, that's just the reality of it. But understanding the way that erections work, and then working to optimize something like nitric oxide production and cyclic GMP health, you'll be able to achieve the same effects, especially if you're eliminating the cause of your erectile dysfunction in the first place. So you should solve the real issue instead of trying to put a Band-Aid on something and then causing other issues for yourself. Now, one thing that I just want to touch on quickly, and I'll talk about this more in the future too, is that there is a, when a doctor will prescribe something to you and say that this is the solution, a lot of people just take that at face value and they just trust that because we're taught to trust medical advice. I mean, we're taught to trust these people who have our best intention in mind. However, the reality of it's a bit different, where a lot of doctors are educated because there is an incestuous relationship between pharmaceutical companies and medical schools and medical institutions. They're educated by literature funded by pharmaceutical companies. And there's actually, there was a big editorial in Time magazine on this, about this very subject, as well as tons of other outlets. But even Time magazine was talking about this, how in every Ivy League school and in medical institution, even Harvard, they've found tens of millions of dollars of funding from pharmaceutical companies to the medical school. So that's just the reality. That's the way it is. So it's better to look for a natural solution to the actual problem that is causing your symptom than it is to just blindly trust that a synthetic Band-Aid is going to actually solve your problem over the long term, especially without causing more serious issues. So the key system here is to unlock your body's vascular health, to unlock your body's ability to, on demand, just have a healthy nitric oxide production and binding to the guanylate cyclase receptors, which will produce the cyclic GMP and have a healthy production in that system. That is the key system here. And so there are ways to do that. There are certain foods that you should eat, and we have an erectile dysfunction grocery list or nitric oxide production grocery list on anabolicmen.com. 20 items of foods that you should be eating regularly to keep healthy nitric oxide production in your body. There's also, we recommend the combination in terms of supplements. There are just a handful of things that really, really work for this. When you combine garlic and vitamin C together, in the proper dosages, you'll see a 200%, and there's a study showing a 200% increase in nitric oxide production in human men. And that's just by combining garlic and vitamin C together in the right dose. Also, pycnogenol or pine bark extract is outstanding for this. So there's something called Redwood by Truth Nutraceuticals, which is highly recommended. We definitely that's totally legit, and especially if you were taking it in the recommended every 12 hours. So what they saw in that study specifically where they showed, and we'll put the study up on the screen, in that study where they showed the 200% increase in human men for the combination of the garlic and vitamin C in the right dosages, they were actually taking it every 12 hours. So what they were doing was eliminating the problem and building up their body's ability to produce nitric oxide naturally by using very natural things, a very simple thing. Garlic and vitamin C are extremely simple and very affordable. And so they were building up their body's steady ability to produce nitric oxide properly. And rather quickly, they saw a 200% increase in nitric oxide production in the body. So knowing what you know, you don't need to use pharmaceuticals. You can actually eliminate and solve the core issue of your erectile dysfunction. And then that way, you won't have any of these crazy side effects that are associated with a lot of these pharmaceuticals, where you might take a Viagra or Cialis and you'll get an erection, guaranteed you'll get an erection. However, you may cause much more serious complications for yourself. And is it really worth it if you have a natural way to solve this issue? Probably not. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this channel, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.